Hey everyone, me Kevin here with a late stimulus check update on July 29th to catch you up on what happened today. Speaking of what happened today, I'm going to tell you a coronavirus joke, but you'll have to wait 2 weeks to see if you got it. All right, I stole that one, but I did actually run out of toilet paper earlier, and I had to start using old newspapers. Times are rough. All right, now we'll pull up our favorite flowchart in just a moment, where I'll talk about stimulus checks and some other important updates. But first, a huge shout out to the 25,000 of you who subscribed to this channel in just the last 7 days alone. I'm honestly speechless. You even like me. Anyway, thank you. Senator Mitt Romney just proposed a 3-month temporary unemployment extension. He introduced this as a Republican option to give an 80% wage replacement. That's up from 70% currently proposed. Or $500 per week in August, which sounded really good until his plan went on to say, but then cut that down to $100 per week in September and October once states get wage replacement going. Now, Mitt Romney's proposal is a baby step towards what Democrats are demanding, but honestly, right now, we don't need more baby steps. Speaking of baby steps, a much anticipated meeting today between Republicans and Democratic leaders occurred between Nancy Pelosi from the House, Chuck Schumer from the Senate, and Mark Meadows, the White House chief of staff. Well, that meeting ended without, well, not only without reaching an agreement, but also without even getting any closer on things like extending unemployment benefits or renewing the eviction moratorium that expired last week. If anything, it almost sometimes feels like we're moving backwards. After a day of meetings, the Washington Post reports that the differences are all but irreconcilable. That's what they said. Democrats are refusing a short-term stopgap bill, which is kind of just like a temporary fill-in bill, which Donald Trump is trying to get. His stopgap bill or short-term bill would presumably be around and focused on unemployment, direct payments, and an eviction protection, which we talked about a bit this morning. However, neither Democrats nor Republicans want this sort of mini bill. Both sides want their larger bill. Mitch McConnell does not want a temporary bill either. Instead, Democrats are holding firm on their $3 trillion HEROES Act, and Republicans, well, they can't even get on board with their $1 trillion plan, the HEALS Act, which many of us have many memes for. But don't worry, folks, you can still get your life insurance and 2 free stocks with the link down below. In 5 minutes, you can get a quote for life insurance and sign up. And of course, you can deposit $100 and get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,400. Check out those links. Now, even though White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said that he was so defeated that he left saying, I don't know that there is another plan other than no deal, and no deal certainly becomes a greater possibility the longer these negotiations go on. We fortunately have Mitch. Mr. Mitch McConnell said, it's only Wednesday. Okay, well, that didn't actually sound like Mitch McConnell's voice, but oh my gosh, that dude literally sounds like the guy who goes to the water cooler and fills up a cup and then turns around and says, it's okay, guys, we can start tomorrow. We still have another 2 full days left on this week to fulfill this project. And it kind of makes you wonder, seriously, is this how our government functions? That we have to get like right up to the deadline to finally all get together and get this group project done? It's literally like we have not left high school. Larry Kudlow, by the way, seems to be the dude who just makes things worse. He's starting to make me want to change the coupon code in the description from Larry. Even though that's really Larry from Impractical Jokers, he's got the same name. And that's the coupon code, of course, for the amazing YouTube course or the investing money in stock courses in the links down below. Sunday morning, Larry Kudlow said he wanted to extend eviction protections. He said that. Nobody put words in his mouth. He said that. Now he's clarifying that the administration wants to extend mortgage forbearance for homeowners, which we already have that. This is not even close to expiring yet. But instead, the eviction protections that have already expired, he says, quote, we're still studying the eviction moratorium. Really? This really is school. They're still studying, which I think is what we tell our teacher when we haven't even started our homework. All right, everyone, I'm going to keep this update to the flowchart short and sweet. Let's get right into this. Let's move over to the changes, which are in yellow. There's been a lot of confusion about child support for the next round of stimulus checks. I want to make this very, very clear. There should be no confusion on child support. Child support in any current versions of the text that we're seeing is indicated as a garnishment that will occur. However, debt collection garnishments from the state and from banks will not occur. AKA, if you owe child support, money will get redirected to the intended recipient. And if you own bank debt or state debt, you'll still be eligible to get your check. Furthermore, if we get this bill passed with stimulus checks by August 7th, that's when the next recess is, my expectation is we might see the actual stimulus check show up in our accounts via direct deposit by probably the last week of August, potentially as early as the third week of August. All right, let's see what else we got. Remember, you qualify with your 2019 tax return or 2018 if you have not yet filed. The employee retention credit, some of you were asking, yes, it can be combined with the PPP, but there are certain limitations. And remember, the work opportunity tax credit does allow employers to receive up to $5,000 as a tax credit, which is 50% of first year qualified wages up to $10,000. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Federal student loans. I just added a little bit of clarity on the three choices you have here. We've talked about these before, so I'm not going to go super detailed into these, but here they are in case you want to pause and read them. Okay, no mention of entertainment, by the way. Now, also do remember, I think mortgage forbearance is a great opportunity for building your emergency fund. So do take advantage of that. Go to MetKevin, not me, Kevin. Go to metkevin.com/forbearance if you have not yet learned about that. Now, let's look at the stopgap bill. So we know that Trump and Mnuchin want this stopgap bill, which would not include liability protections or schools or really the rest of the things above. Instead, it would really just focus on an eviction ban, payments to individuals. We don't know if those are stimulus checks, possibly, and unemployment. And Trump is also really gung-ho on a new FBI building, which a lot of us are wondering, what does an FBI building have to do with the pandemic? And the answer is truly nothing. But one of the reasons this FBI building continues to come up in discussion is because the bottom line is the current building does suck. And the FBI is, an organization we don't want to underfund. Again, why it comes up in this, nobody knows. But obviously it's important for an FBI building to have probably the latest and greatest wiring and technology in the building. Some say that Donald Trump wants this to be a brand new FBI building instead of maybe that building getting relocated somewhere else so that some developer doesn't come in and build a new hotel to compete with Donald Trump's nearby hotel. In the meantime, let's see what else we have here. We know that Democrats and Republicans do not want a piecemeal bill, and not even Mitch McConnell wants the FBI building in this. No news yet on the EIDL grants. And this was the meeting that was scheduled for today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday between Democrat leaders and Republican leaders. But we already know that that meeting was essentially a failure. So that's tentatively the flowchart update that we have. Let's continue to move on with some of the other information that's going on. Specifically, this one's going to have to do with dogs. The World Health Organization, also known as the WHO, or some people just say WHO, announced that dogs cannot contract COVID, and that dogs held in quarantine have essentially now been, cleared for release, which is leading a lot of people to ask, who let the dogs out? Unfortunately, National Geographic just broke news that the first dog to test positive for COVID-19 died. This was a German Shepherd who had COVID-19 and lymphoma. So it sounds like the dog had an underlying condition. Meanwhile, Senator Kamala Harris, whom Joe Biden has his eyes on as a potential VP nominee, has introduced a relief act which would ban evictions and foreclosures for 1 year and would give repayment terms of 18 months to tenants and homeowners who want to repay. So it would mandate that there is no balloon payment at the end of either forbearance or evictions. For most people taking forbearance, this is not an issue. Those payments are already moved to the end of the loan, or should be. However, for tenants, there is no such thing. So this would be some form of relief for tenants, although let's be real, the best relief we could find for tenants would be some moolah in the pocket, please. Because this pandemic is pretty ridiculous, and it's definitely widening the wealth gap. Anyway, there you have the update for today. Please join the 25,000 of you who subscribed over the last week. Please consider hitting that red subscribe button and making it gray. Really appreciate you. If you share the video, hey, that's wonderful as well. Hope you appreciated and enjoyed it. I'll come back tomorrow with a new updated flowchart. We'll keep this one up and running and moving along. Thank you so much for watching, folks. We will see you next time.